Hey everybody, my name's Tom, and today we're going to be looking at the butterfly as an aquatic stroke. So, what is butterfly? Butterfly is a symmetrical bilateral stroke, a highly demanding event in competition where both arms and legs work simultaneously to propel athletes in a forward motion. Furthermore, butterfly technique can be beneficial or detrimental to athletes in competition. The technique they use to perform the wave/dolphin kick can actually increase or reduce their profile drag. The three main components of butterfly are the catch, pull, and push or recovery phase. As figure 1 also demonstrates, that's actually the stroke coordination and components of butterfly and all the other competitive strokes. So as we can see, we got the leg action and the arm action sequence. Now we're going to have a look at the entry and catch phase in butterfly. The entry phase is the first phase of arm stroke in butterfly, where the arms enter the water either fully extended or slightly flexed at the elbow as a result of the prior recovery phase stroke. Upon entry, the arms should be about shoulder width apart, palms facing down and slightly out. This will assist with the extension forward of the arms when they enter the water, also prompted by body undulation. The outsweep or catch phase occurs when the forearms and palms of your hand are actually facing backwards and are in line. The arms almost form a Y shape, which will initiate the first catch phase. This is the initial stage of propulsion forward, which generates a velocity to win the race. The elbows will actually bend to ensure prime muscle groups can generate the most power throughout the water. The catch phase is the most propulsive in the butterfly sequence. At entry, the swimmer's propulsion creates a wave drag. When the swimmer can reduce the velocity of their hands throughout the water, it will actually reduce the center of mass and the wave drag that comes with it, further accelerating the swimmer forward. Although the catch phase is the main element of butterfly, other smaller phases occur before the catch phase, which will actually help prepare the athlete and able to execute the three main phases. So in figure 2, we can see that the swimmer is actually in the catch phase of the stroke, where their elbows are actually slightly bent and palms are facing backwards, so they're ready to propel themselves throughout the water forward. So the second phase we're going to have a look at is the pull phase. In the initial pull phase, the arms become stretched outwards as per figure 3. The pull phase is the main source of power for the athlete's forward momentum. The phase occurs as the hands begin their backward movement towards the hips and conclude when the arms extend at shoulder height, which is also vertical to the body. The second undulation upward phase also occurs simultaneously with the pull phase in the arm stroke sequence. The pull phase is a direct follow-on from the previous catch phase. The athletes don't have adequate time to adjust their technique as the stroke happens so quickly. The pull phase is one of the most crucial stages as it ironically pulls your body forward, creating momentum and reducing profile drag to propel the athlete forward. So the final phase we're going to have a look at is the push and recovery phase. Push phase is the final element of the underwater stroke of butterfly, where the arms actually push out against the water with palms facing outwards and downwards from our shoulder height to approximately 1/3 of the hip height. Ensuring the arms are bent the whole time, they begin to release from the water with a pinky leading out. Furthermore, this transitions into the recovery phase. The recovery phase actually provides the athlete with a breath during their stroke, but also continues to generate the forward velocity of the athlete in the water as it initiates the start of the next sequence and the entry and catch phase. The arm stroke technique still applies to swimmers during the recovery phase. Bending of the arms and elbows will allow the stroke sequence to continue effectively. See figure 4. So in figure 4 we can actually see the athlete's hands are out of the water, about to re-enter the next sequence of the entry and catch phase. The head comes out of the water for a breath just before the arms cycle out of the water. When the swimmer has their breath and their head resubmerges, they can begin the catch phase. So moving forward from our three main phases of butterfly stroke, we're now going to have a look at the kicking technique and some specific teaching cues we would give to our swimmers. Throughout all phases of butterfly, the wave/dolphin kick is implemented to actually reduce profile drag and also creating a wave-like motion to support the arm stroke sequence. In the sequence, 2 kicks are performed for every 1 arm stroke. Mechanically, the wave kicks are much slower compared to the freestyle flutter kicks, for example, hence why we use 2-to-1 ratio. The motion of the leg movement is similar to a wave, with hip flexion generating power to propel forward. Swimmers, when using the kick, actually ensure their ankles and knees are locked together. This will reduce the amount of drag of the legs. So as we can see in figure 5, this actually supports it. With our knees, in the first photo, the knees are actually slightly bent, with the hips slightly flexed too. And then the second photo, the knees and hips fully extend, which will generate the power down, and the legs accelerate downwards motion. So moreover, the toes should actually be pointed down towards the bottom of the water. The ankles slightly plantar flexed to create that streamlined movement. Some other teaching cues for the butterfly kick technique actually include initial hip and flexion and knee flexion, which is up to about 60 degrees before the downwards phase. Swimmers should also rise their hips towards the water surface to create a neutral body position. This will also help reduce profile drag. On the downwards phase, swimmers should extend the knees and hips, ensuring the ankles and knees are still locked together. This will create that wave-like motion and the power to propel athletes forward. So now that we've had a look at the kicking technique and some specific teaching cues, we're now going to have a look at the arm stroke sequence and their teaching cues. To reduce the chance of disqualification and for swimmers to maximize velocity, developing the correct technique for the arm stroke in butterfly is vital. Initially, the chest floats in the waters with the eyes looking down, ears submerged, and head slightly looking forward and in line with the torso. The arms move a little bit outwards where there is flexion of the elbow to create that Y shape with both arms simultaneously prior to the entry/catch phase. The thumb eventually enters the water first with the palms facing outwards and arms extended, also with a slight bend. At the entry of hands into the water, the first kick begins, where the hips and knees flex and drive down into the water, creating that wave motion. As the palms enter the water, they maneuver in a downward motion and twist to face backwards. The palms facing backwards actually allow for the pull and push phase to generate the most forward momentum possible. See figure 6. We're going to actually have a look at figure 6 in a second. The arms continue to have a slight bend. They extend and dig at the water. An effective teaching cue maybe for younger children when teaching this butterfly technique sequence may be to almost pretend as if you were digging the water with your hands. That will force the athletes to actually pull back their hands into the water, creating that forward momentum. The arms should almost brush past the thighs on the exit as well, and they rise to the top of the water surface where the pinky should actually be the first body part out of the water. From there, the swimmers continue the next stroke sequence of the arm action. So now we're going to have a look at figure 6, and this is what the arm stroke sequence actually looks like in illustrative terms. So as we can see, the arms pull through and push past the thighs, so that's in the final pull phase. And then we move on to where the recovery phase, where our arms actually come out of the water with a slight bend. As you can see, our pinky actually leads out of the water with our knees still flexed, and our ankles and knees still locked together as well. That's a part of our second kick as well. So now we're going to have a look at breathing technique and teaching cues for swimmers. Breathing in butterfly occurs during the recovery phase, where swimmers' arms exit the water and prepare to re-enter. Specific teaching cues to assist with breathing include shoulders leading head out of water. The body should rise naturally due to undulation. Additionally, swimmers should keep their chin in line with their forehead and inhale during the recovery phase. The exhale should be promptly after under the water before resurfacing for another breath. A tip for when to breathe. Inhalation should occur during the recovery of the arms, while exhalation should happen during the last upsweep of the arm sequence. It's vital for swimmers to understand breathing patterns and cues to maintain the stroke's fluent sequence. Correct inhaling, exhaling techniques will ensure the swimmers can swim as fast as possible. So thanks very much for listening. As we discussed the teaching cues and 3 main phases of our butterfly stroke, and here's some references to go along with it.